Welcome. Hello, how are you? It's nice to have an audience about anything that I do. So I need to say, first and foremost, about anything else that I do, don't pay attention to what's on my shirt. Uh, Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking and viewing and paying attention to any of the content on the channel. Yes, you can call me a shill right out the top. I am a shill for free t-shirts. That's the first thing I'm going to say. I'm wearing the shirt today because I'm in the middle of doing a review of some of the products, of which I've had boxes around for the last few days. A lot of that gear now is laced into the system. I haven't released any kind of update video because I haven't edited it yet. I'm very slow in the process of editing my videos because I don't like to do it, and because of my ADHD kind of mind, I don't have a strict plan or like a theme of reviewing products or any kind of like, I don't have any kind of plan when I sit down to do things. I have some products in my hands, or I have some things that I need to set in my system, but I don't really know what to do. So, hey, Mech is here. What's going on? Nice to see you joining. Hopefully your day is going well. It's very exciting over here with the new stuff that's been in the system. And I figured I would just give an intro for what's going on and talk about the video that I have to release just to do it live. And then I'm going to spend most of my time during the video talking about some of the new music that's released this week, and a couple of things that I did in terms of measurements with my system. I have a streamer in my system, and that streamer allows me to do some cool things for the sound, which they call room correction. Room correction essentially means that, like, when you're in a room, I'm sure that people have experienced this before, like where we move from one space to another, like you move from the hallway to the bathroom, and you talk in the bathroom, and you talk in the hallway, or you talk in your bedroom, or you talk in bus shelter, train station, shopping mall. If we move into different areas and we talk, the space sounds different because of what's in that room. Sound acts in all directions and bounces off of objects. So room correction with audio systems, like in my system, let me switch my camera. There we go. Let me know if everything sounds well. In my system, for instance, I have the speakers set up against the far wall. I have the subwoofers there, the amplifiers beside them. Then I've got the power conditioner laced up. That's from Synergistic Research that I am reviewing. Don't pay attention to my feet. You got to pay extra for that. I'm just kidding. Or am I? I'm going to cover up my feet. Screw you guys. Pay extra. So yeah, so the system is set up in against the far wall. I have curtains around everywhere. So I've got curtains over my window. You can see there's the curtains. It's not really blackout curtains, but they're soft. And then they continue all the way around the room. And then I have these panels on the side, which allow for side reflection and a little bit of diffusion, but not much diffusion because they're mostly aesthetic and they're not designed with like a specific acoustic properties or whatnot. So every room sounds different. Sylvana's here, and I see that there's a love affair going on in the comments. I love that. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yes, so sounds in rooms, they're all different. Every room is going to have a different sound. So it says, oh, thank you. I'm Russian. Ooh, Russian. That sounds Mikrona? Is that right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyways, so I did a sound, like a let me see if I can call it up. I have the Weem Pro Plus is what the streamer is called, streaming like Apple or YouTube or In my case, I stream Spotify and Qobuz, and I've had Tidal, but I don't really use it that much. So in the device, you have the option of doing EQ settings, and my EQ settings are here. And what the auto calibration does is it plays a sound in the room, and then it gives me all kinds of measurements. Now there's a lot of measurements there. You can see this is basically an auto PEQ process where it plays a sound and it will adjust the EQ settings based on what the microphones hear. Now this is an iPad mini 4th generation. It's very old. It's not the most accurate thing you can use, but it does affect the sound using PEQ, and that's pretty cool. So for a device that's about $400, which is not a little bit of money, but for $400 you get a streamer, you have all kinds of media inlets, you can stream through all of the platforms. You do have this new room correction software process where it uses microphones from calibrated devices like iPhones, and it will use those microphones. It doesn't work on my Android for whatever reason. Android software is in a lot of phones where the microphones are not calibrated, so I'm unable to sample based on that. So I will show you what the microphones measured in my room. That's a measurement from low to high, and the white line on top is the measurement, and the pink line on the opposite side is the EQ setting. And the blue line that's in the middle is the one that it EQ'd. So I know to a lot of people maybe that's confusing and it doesn't make a lot of sense if you're not familiar with this stuff. And hold on, I'm just trying to find the right picture. I had notifications. I'm using multimedia here. So this is a sample of the final curve in my room where it helped with the boominess here and it brought up some of the mid-range in this area, and it's a downward trending slope in my room. And this is using the Ween Pro Plus device, which is actually really, really cool. Mecrona is how you say it, but it's spelled with an H. Oh, okay, cool. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. I cannot read any Russian at all, so please, if you can, translate into English or write into English if that's possible. So, I mean, I could use a Google Translator and read it off the screen, but that's not what we're here for. So please, if you can, I understand there may be an understanding there, but let's keep it to English so everybody that's on the audience can understand, or at least I can understand, be it that this is my channel, so that's fair, right? So yeah, I think the device, the Ween Pro Plus device is actually really cool. It gives you this opportunity to do some basic EQing, or at least gives you the values for your EQ settings so you can play around with it. I had some fun with it earlier today, and it worked really, really well, and I can appreciate what it's doing. Carmen is here. DeSanto, welcome, welcome. Mecrona, yes. I understand maybe 2 people in the chat are Russian, and that's cool that you can communicate, but I am not. I can't read it, and a lot of other people may not be able to in the chat either. So for everybody's respect, I think that English is a universal language in most places, and for that reason, I would prefer that people speak and write in that language so that everybody is part of this conversation for the point of inclusive, or at least for clarity in this sake. So I don't mind broadcasting and talking with everybody, but let's stay on the same page, and that way it's fair for everyone. Otherwise, I'll have to show you my feet again. So what is going on with you today? How are you doing? What is on your music list? What's the last song that you listened to? I've got a thermos cup here with 2 giant ice cubes and a drink, so it's very warm here in the city. And I've been trying to stay cool, put on some music, listen to some music today. So what do I have to say? What did I put in the system? Let's walk around the system a little bit, and I'll show you what has happened. So let me secure the camera. Okay, so to my friends, welcome and hello. I'm going to walk around the system and showcase a little bit of what I laced into the system. Maybe last time we were here I did the same. So there is a video of my putting all of the cables together. So here we have the Synergistic Foundation. This is the SX 10 gauge power cable. It's still got the cover on here. So that's the power cable, the 10 gauge power cable that is running in front of my speakers right now, because this length is only 5 feet. It was too it was too short to run behind everything, and then this was too short here to go between all of my other systems. It's only 5-foot cables. So Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty good song. Say, no, I'm in Colombia. If you want to see, search, go. I know where Colombia is. Colombia is in the west side of South America, right beside Peru, and north of Chile and Argentina. I know exactly where Colombia is. Sort of towards the northern part of the continent, and also north of Brazil. So Carmine DeSanto, run a HeadFi setup. I run the Weem Pro streamer as an EQ parametric, and there's many different options. Yes, exactly. So I was showing it. I do have the device that's over here. That's the Weem Pro Plus. It is connected to my Rotel preamp there. I am using the new not new, but the Synergistic Foundation coaxial cable. So I've got the coaxial plugged in this way, also to my CD player, which is currently playing, and that is the Rotel CD11 Tribute model. So that's pretty cool. But yes, the parametric EQ options for the Weem streamer is actually really good. I'm still trying to figure out whether hold on, Macarona is saying, can you play that? No, I don't want to play copywritten music during my stream, because that inhibits and adds to the complication of doing YouTube and music and copyright. You understand? I'd like to be able to play other music, and maybe in other streams, like I can do a demo of it afterwards on its own video. But during my live streams, I prefer not to use copywritten music. So it's a bit of a hard time trying to do things like that. Like, copyright music is a big problem for a lot of... Nope, that's... You're disappearing. Remove. Stupid people. I don't stand for it. Taco Bell stupid person timed out for 86,000 seconds. I don't know how or why these people get in here to say any of this stupid stuff, but I'm not standing for it. That profile is gonna get deleted. So anyways, yeah, copyright music is not a really good and favorable thing, so we won't be doing any of that on stream. So yeah, I did Dune OST, less experimental, more spectacular. Yeah, that's true. I love Dune. Dune was a really great soundtrack, and I actually really appreciate Hans Zimmer. He's one of my favorite composers ever. All of his soundtracks sound amazing. All of the movies that he's written for end up being really, really amazing movies in general. Like, I can't think of one that he's done that didn't sound amazing. So there's definitely that. So also continuing along the journey here, there's Synergistic Research speaker cables. These are the Foundation. What are they? Foundation. The model numbers on here. So it's SR30 speaker cables, just laced across the floor and then into the back of the Arundel towers. No power cables or specific RCAs running to the SVS subs. These are just basic RCA cables running from the preamp. I didn't get long. I didn't get long cables for the subwoofers, but I don't really think that we need them. A lot of the cabling and electronics that you add into hi-fi, typically used for high-end frequencies and mid-range clarity rather than the low-end and bass. You can get away with a lot more with bass and subwoofers than you can with high-end sound. So I don't typically use high-end kind of cables or power or anything like that for subwoofers. I may get into it eventually, but unfortunately the cable that they use for this sub is very, very tiny, and it's a different kind of plug. It's not quite as fancy as this one. So we will be using something different there. The main object is that one. That power conditioner allows for cleaner sound, brings the power in from the wall, cleans it up a little bit, and connects up to 8 devices. So DST, Carmen is saying, Carmen DeSanto saying, oh my God, still. Meaning, what is this? What is still? I don't see anything that's going on there. Let me know. Let me know what it is you noticed. So thank you, my friends, for joining and watching. I'm wondering who else is watching on here. I just want to be able to talk about some of the music a little bit. So I've still got my Cardis speaker cables. Cool. Cardis is also a very, very good brand. I haven't really spoke to anybody from Cardis. I do know some people in the company. I've talked with them at shows, but I never really made any kind of connection with anybody in the brand. So I don't really have an opportunity to demo any of the cables. It would actually be nice. Some of the cables are really, really nice cables, and I wouldn't mind actually demoing some. That would actually be pretty cool. I'm just trying to adjust my camera here. Sorry about that, folks. It's really hot. I'm definitely going to start sweating in here. I don't know if everybody wants to see my lower half. This is frame right. I can show a little bit of the music that I have in my playlist. I can probably get away with playing a couple of clips, like as long as they're only 15 seconds or less. Just enjoying some really, really nice drinks there. Fat Fingers, iPhone screen, music is softwares. Music is the software that runs the hardware. Better music makes your gear shine. Yes, production value. To elaborate on what's being said there, I really believe in that as well. If you have a really, really good source material, source recordings actually make any system sound better. So if you go to demo shows and they're playing stuff like this song, for instance, let me flip my camera. You hear what I'm dealing with. So if you have music like this playing, right? Of course it's going to sound better because it's good music. Natural music, guitar, but it's very simple. It's very one or two instruments are playing, bass and guitar. So it's very easy to reproduce. It's not really busy. It's not like metal music. For me, metal music is really noisy, of course, and it can be aggressive. It's not for everybody, but the flip side is if your system can play metal music, chances are it can play everything very well. So while I agree that it's nice to have really good recorded music, it's also good to have a variety of different kinds of music in your system and when you're evaluating, especially. Like obviously when you get at home, just listen to it how you want. There's no one going to tell you how it sounds to you. Only you get to decide what it sounds like. If you notice, if you like it, if you don't like it, if this sounds better or that sounds worse or whatever the case may be, every opinion about music is your own opinion. No one can tell you what it's going to sound like. However, there are some realities to sound and science that we can stand by. Things like frequency response and range, how it performs in a room. We use measurements and microphones to get data to see how things are going to work. And then the perspective, or like my taste, I like wearing black. Mostly I wear white sometimes, but that's a personal choice. Music in that sense, like whether you listen to metal or jazz or funk or hip hop or whatever your kind of music is, needs to sound good on whatever the system is. So when you go into places and you listen and evaluate with speakers, you don't want to just listen what you like. Of course, when you get at home, that's what you're going to listen to. Listen to something familiar, but in order to see how something performs, to see how it keeps up, you want to play stuff like soundtracks, loud dynamic bass. You want to listen to hip hop that's got the same kind of bass and texture. Metal music for the same reason. It's got a lot of instruments. Classical music with a lot of instruments. You want to see how the system can perform when there's a lot going on, when the system is really stressed. Then you can tell whether an amplifier or a subwoofer of some kind or a speaker that's whatever range of a budget or whatnot, you can see how it performs when you test it and you push that music, the difference of music and the dynamics of music. You can see how it translates to what you're going to enjoy at home. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that when you test it on multiple kinds of music, like a stress test, you can tell the integrity. You can judge the character of the product by how you test it, what kinds of things it can handle very well. When they stress test cars, they test it on all kinds of terrain. They test it over bumpy roads. They test it on wet roads. They test it in the cold, in the heat. They crash test it from multiple angles. They'll do stress testing on the material. So when you're listening and you're evaluating audio, you kind of want to do the same thing. It's not always just about what's comfortable with you in a testing atmosphere. It's more about what are the different elements and factors and dynamics of the product that it can actually handle. Then if you stress test it and it handles everything, you know it's a good product by default because it does all of these different things. It's like any kind of checklist, you know? So when we get at home, on the other hand, and that's where we come to today, I like to go through a list and listen to some of the music. Spotify has a daily playlist or a release radar or whatever you want to call it. And there's some pretty interesting songs that come on there. So I'm going to scroll through that list now after I catch up with my comments. So Carmen's saying, go to any audio show. They don't do requests, but I asked for specific songs. Many will like, yes, and that's true. There's an audio advice show right now. If you check on YouTube and Facebook, check for audio advice. There's a show going on right now in North Carolina. They have a lot of different rooms that are demoing things right now. And one of the reasons I believe that they don't take requests is for this reason. They don't know what it's going to sound like. They don't know if it's going to offend anybody. If they constantly take requests, they'll have to let everybody do requests. So it's really hard to figure out what's going on there. And let me see. So do I have... Macron is saying, do I have 1970 Sony Cubes? I don't know what that is. I've never even seen that, but I'm going to just say no because I don't own anything from Sony. So, no, I don't. So let me just flip over from my CD. And change the input, go back to this. Now we're going to go back to my Spotify, and I'm going to go through some of my playlists here. I will show you, so I'm going to bring my camera a little closer. I'm going to flip, say, oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to talk to you. I'm your fan. Oh my goodness. Easy there. You guys could talk to each other any other time. You don't need to come here and talk to each other. Wait till this is over and send some messages later. Do you have Instagram? Like, what's going on? You want to share Instagrams, you can find my channel on there under the same name and send me messages. That's really wild. So this is what we're listening to. This is a release radar that's on Spotify. I've got a song that's kind of queued up here. So I want to just go through this and maybe play this, a little bit of this song. This will probably get copyrighted, but I'm not really sure. So let's just check it out. We're going to listen to it together. So I believe this is a drum and bass song. So I said that's super cute that you guys can be fans and like find each other and show up to streams. And I'm so glad that we can build a community this way around music. So that's fair. So yeah, this is Sub-Focus. The song's called Wildfire. I guess this is released. This is a new release, I guess. So we'll see how this goes. Let's just skip through it. Yeah, Instagrams, you know what it is. That's not a bad song. I like that. But for the copyright sense, let's just skip the songs. Oh, we know we know Tom McDonald. This is a pretty big tune. This one came out the last few days. And I totally enjoy this song. I think he made a really, really good reason for posting this song. So it's pretty crazy to actually have politics so hot right now, but I respect the people that are speaking their voice, putting up their message, you know, and the fact that he put this song out in 12 hours after the event, that was actually really crazy. So we're going to scroll through here. Oh, this is Opeth. Wow. Opeth has released some songs. They've actually announced a new album that's supposed to be coming out in October, so that's a couple months away. Look out for Opeth if you're a metal fan. That album should be coming out. This will definitely get me copyright. So that's Bastille. I just want to play a little bit more. So it's mostly just singing. Lindsey Sterling's in this song. So that's that song. Pretty cool. Fleetwood Mac. This is not a new song. This is something that my mom would have listened to when I was younger. Colin McGuinness. Sounds very folky vocals. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through some music just to show what's on the playlist. So there's a band called Raw. I used to listen to these guys a long time ago. So they're a metal band. I guess they're coming out with something new. I have to look into this one, so that's pretty cool. Deadmau5 has got a new song out. So that's pretty cool. Deadmau5 is pretty easy to listen to these days. He's got some nice music. I actually really appreciate what he posts on socials, how he shares his different sort of studio view, that kind of thing. Like he makes music at home. He's got a studio built at home. I love that he does that. So that's pretty cool. So anyways, I'm going to go back to my CD because I don't want to give up my channel to the copyright gods. So anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed that little bit of a view. Now, if you have any questions based on the channel about me, other kinds of songs, any equipment that you have, music equipment, anything that you've experienced, even maybe something that you heard about either music or equipment that you'd like to get more information on, then feel free to ask me for the next, I'll hang around for another 10 minutes or whatnot. And we can talk about any of the audio equipment, things that are on the channel, maybe other videos that I've done, maybe some stuff that is posted now that I can answer or clarify and include in a new video. I can do more detailed videos on things that are coming up. I need to do a proper review of the SVS bookshelves. I still have in the other room, but I need to swap the speakers around. I got the new cables in from Synergistics, so I needed to walk myself through the Synergistic research cables and find out what that was all about first. I'm going to switch all of that stuff back, do the proper demo for SVS the way that I intended it. Then I still need to do a proper full-length review and talk about the Orchard Audio amps that I have. That would be these amps right here. So these are Orchard Audio amplifiers right here. They're mono blocks. So I have 2 amplifiers, one for each speaker set up in the system. I have to do a complete review for those. So I don't know what's going on in chat. Everybody just anyhow. So if there's anything in those the previous videos or anything that hasn't come up yet, then we'll address those things coming up. So the amplifiers, I have to do a review. I have to do the review for the SVS. I want to do a follow-up review of the Arundel Towers. Then I will do a complete review, or at least my opinion on what I've experienced with the Synergistic Research cables. That is the power conditioner, the Power Cell 8, the 2 power cables for my amplifiers, and the speaker cables to each of the speakers, plus the coaxial cables that are plugged in for my streaming and for my CD player. I will try to do a comparison A/B, which is going to be a little bit difficult, but I will do my best. I will try to remain as honest as possible, or at least, I don't mean as honest as possible because I'm always honest about what I have to say, but what I mean to say as not honest, but as clear and transparent about my experience as possible. So the question I'm seeing in chat is, do I have a Facebook? I do have a Facebook, the same name as this. I will just show you what that looks like so everybody can find it. So let me call up the page. And this is actually chainmail. This was handmade. A friend of mine made this maybe 20 years ago now, and I still wear it. So it's actually handmade chainmail. Yes, so then there's also this page. So I have both. It's the same name everywhere. Makes it very easy for people to find me, which is awesome. So yes, that's SVS bookshelves, the Ultra Evolution bookshelves, the second bottom or second smallest bookshelf, or the bigger of the 2 bookshelves. The subwoofers, the SB1000s. I will try to review everything together as an integrated system. I still have to do a comparison with SVS and Arundel Towers. However, oh, that's interesting. My phone's getting little black spots in the pixels. That's not great. I need to figure that out. Mirage is here. Welcome. I'm about 10 minutes from actually exiting the stream, unless something comes up. Silvana is going through a crisis here, trying to get attention. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to think about where you are here, and this is a live stream for my channel, and it seems like a lot of the messages here have been trying to talk past the context of the conversation and trying to do your own thing, which is not the right way to do socializing. You can pick another time, another place, you have contacts, you can, it's okay, but you have to realize this may not be the right place to have conversations the way you're trying to have a conversation. So I'm saying it's okay as well, and it seems like our other chatters here have no problem, so don't worry about it too much. But understand that this is a strange place to have conversations like that. In my opinion, that's just what I think, and maybe that's why it seems strange. So Mirage is here. Welcome. I've got the new styles going on. A lot of the stuff in the system I've had to let burn in over the last few weeks. I did a video. I have a video of content. It's me putting the cables together, talking about the process of plugging them in. So I have to edit that together. Maybe, I mean, the only other option for me to show the content is to play the video while I'm on live so that I can talk about my process of like putting everything together, let you hear what it was. Instead of editing together, I can make it a longer session. Maybe that would be cool. I don't know. I mean, it's just sitting down and focusing on the editing is it's a tedious task for me, and I don't really know. So there's like this whole other conversation that's going on in here. So Mirage is saying brand t-shirts, great way to advertise. Yeah, it is for them. I mean, I have the boxes too. This is like perfect ability to advertise. It shows the RCA cables that I got, and I'll have to include all of the information when I eventually get to the final review. I'll put all the information on pricing, availability. I'll put down a number of stores that are in my local area. That way all my friends can actually go and look it up, figure out what's going on. If you have any general questions about what happens on any of the videos and you know the name of the product, I'm going to say this here, as much as I love interaction, don't ask me first. Ask Google first. The first thing that I'm going to do if I don't know the answer to your question is go to Google. So you asking me about a certain thing is making me Google it for you. So just Google it yourself, and then if it still doesn't make sense, come back and ask me, or put down in the comments what you found on Google and say, hey, does this make sense? You know, like that's the same for any topic at all. Say, hey, is this compatible with Tidal? Does this have 4 ohm rating? Does this whatever? Like, write it into Google first, because all of us that are in media will chances are we have to Google it for you. So don't make us do that. Use Google yourself. Type it in the little box, see what it says, and then come back and start the conversation. So Carmen is saying out barbecue garden listening. Are you by-wiring the speakers to the Orchard Audio amps? No, and I'll show you why. Keep watching. I know you're at a barbecue, but I'll show you why. This is a mono amp, so there's only one set of outputs. So there's one cable coming out, and it's only one set going in. So they are bi-wireable. Sorry about the angle of the camera. Let me change that. So they are bi-wireable, but there's no real reason to bi-amp them because there's no benefit from running cables from one amp, right? Like it's one amp with one power supply with one signal. So bi-amping doesn't actually improve anything for a speaker like that. But yeah, so Carmen, good question. But that's why I'm not, because the Orchard Audio amps, as beautiful as they are, they only have one output, so I wouldn't bi-amp them from a monoblock. I think that the single run to the speakers is good enough. They have really quality binding posts. The crossovers are great. I trust Arundel and what they're doing, so I don't really need to mess around there too much. Let me get to this other question here. Sorry about the camera angles, guys. I'm trying to move everything around. So the question there is, let me get this. Lynx1 says, sorry if it's already been covered, but what happened to the Borison X1s? All I'm going to say about the Borison X1s, and I know a lot of people are going to have questions about it. So let me flip this around. I'll put my face on camera for this one. I am equally surprised, and actually I need the other camera angle. There we go. Um, so what happened in the Borison X1? I did an unboxing. I showcased the speakers the way that they showed up. I was super excited. I had hold on a second. I'm gonna actually remove this person because I am tired of seeing that conversation. I'm sorry for whoever it is, but I have been patient and addressed the idea of having conversations like that in chat. I think that there's a personal problem there, and I'm not going to allow that or allow that kind of a conversation to happen in the middle of a chat here. It's distracting. I'm leading people through a conversation about audio, and this person's just been focused on another user and saying things that sound very, very weird. So I hope that whoever it is gets some help and figures out what's going on with them as a person, but this is not the place to do so, and I'm not a therapist, so I'm not about to enable such a thing, and I'm just going to relieve everybody else from that conversation. So my apologies. Corona, I don't know what else to say. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and I empathize with people that are facing certain situations and or anxieties or social awkwardness. I'm awkward. Believe me, I'm awkward. But I know that this isn't the place, so please forgive me, but then also understand what I'm trying to do for my channel here. So let me go back. The Borison X1 unboxing for me was an amazing experience. For the brand, I don't believe that how it was executed, my doing it live and showcasing an unboxing experience per se, was the most ideal situation. Now, I've heard very little from the reps, but they wanted the units back because they observed something that needed to be addressed. Let's just put it that way. I have no content up right now. There's only very few bits and pieces of content that will be seen from them or about them. I need to hear back from reps because they wanted the units back to, I guess, so they could. I don't even know. To be honest with you, I know that they asked for them back, but I don't know what exactly is happening, or at least from what I'm able to tell you, I can't say more than that for certain reasons. That's the best that I can give you. Macrona, I'm not going to read that out, but people that watch this back can maybe see that. Now, I understand it happens. People have a sense of conversation. Some things go strange. And even like, I'm going to tie this in and say, like, my experience with the unboxing for the X1s, I was so excited. Like, you have no idea how excited I was. It's gone now. The content can't be seen. I'm not showing it anywhere. I would need to hear back from reps to do a follow-up, and then once I know what's going on, then I can bring the materials. They'll have photos. I still have the recordings. I still have the live footage that I recorded from 2 different angles on 2 different cameras. So I can still show everything. I have everything on camera. It's just up to the reps to let me know what the situation is, what the idea going forward is, and then I'll decide what happens with the footage. Now, it's really not in my hands. They're not my product. I didn't, and full disclosure, I did not purchase them. So they're not essentially my items to control or decide or to hold on to, right? There may be a situation where this was supposed to, and this was aimed at a long-term purchase. I will say that much. This is a product that I adored. I loved. They sounded amazing. Their aesthetics were almost perfect. Nothing is perfect, so I can't say perfect. Almost perfect. They were amazing. But because of the situation, I was excited. I was much like what we were talking about in chat here with somebody who's excited. They want to talk to someone. They want attention. They want to get this response. They want to, you know what I mean? Like, I was emotional about what I was doing. And because of my emotional experience, I might have done it the wrong way in terms of business interests. Okay, now whatever that means to you, you can speculate. I'm not saying it, but I understand the purpose to do it correctly. Let's just put it that way. So that's what happened. I did the unboxing. It didn't land the right way. You know what I mean? Doing it live, showcasing a certain way. Also might have been something about the products that were noticed that I don't know because it's not my product. They were brand new to me, so I don't know the difference. But they were requested and I had to respectfully let them go. But at the same time, the truth is I was upset. I was really, really excited about it. I had waited months and months and months to get those. So I had them in-house. I did the unboxing. I was super excited. I've got photos that have been posted to Facebook since about my excitement. And because, like I said, they weren't completely paid for, I need to send them back, let them get checked over, whatever the case may be, and then maybe they'll come back. I can still obviously purchase any other brand or any other speaker. Here's the interesting thing. So the interesting thing is Arundel Towers, this brand Arundel, are coming out with new towers soon. So I found a number of different images, videos online. They released some teaser videos, and the new speakers that this brand is coming out with are going to be so sexy looking. I mean, really, 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 really impressive looking. They're going to be a tier higher than these, so they're going to cost more. Link's one saying, "Thanks for the honest response. I really enjoyed the live video unboxing. It made me want to buy a pair. Hope the reps see that." Yes, and I mean, all I can do, because I have to respect their business, and I do. These guys are not just, they're not just like reps to me. I'll be honest. I know, I don't know them personally. Obviously, I haven't visited them, but I've dealt with them for a number of years. I met with Lars. I met with Peter. I met with Michael Borison himself. I met with some of the reps. All of these guys do an amazing job. I've known them for maybe 2 years-ish, online anyways. Met them in Chicago at Expona. I met them in Montreal in last March or March of this year. I know reps that are here in the city, dealers in the city, distributed networks that are in the city. I've become friends with all of them, if that makes sense. I can message them on Facebook. I've emailed them. I've visited the stores. Some of them have been to my house. So when I tell you that I was emotional about it, I mean, I was really emotional about it. So I'm going to admit that my response to it was, I was hurt because, like your response there says, and I hope that they see this too, it made you want to buy a pair because they're amazing speakers. And I enjoyed every part of what was happening there. So to have to send them back by request, it's like I just got them and I wanted to hold on to them, but they were, you know what I mean? It's like, I imagine, this is going to be so weird, Bicrona. I don't know if you're female, any females watching. Ladies, if you're watching, if you're parents, this is going to be a weird metaphor, but this is ADHD talking. So forgive me for this, but listen, I imagine it's something like when you're a mother, you're a newborn mother, you're a newborn mother, you give birth, you're in the hospital, doctors have to take your baby away, go through all of the newborn tests, they do checks for breathing, responses, they wrap it up, they clean everything, they take it away from you, then they bring it back to you. And that moment where you go through this effort and you have this separation anxiety is what I felt like. it just needed to happen, you know, and there was nothing that I could do. It's part of the process. So yes, the whole goal is to say that I love them. I've been a fan of Borison Acoustics since he started his own company 4 or 5 years ago with the O line. I've even done artwork about them, and they're on my Facebook, and I should post them to my Instagram as well. So I have loved the brand to the point of becoming friends with a lot of the reps, storekeepers, showing videos, showcasing all of this kind of stuff for 4 years. And then to see the X series come out last year and have demos in Florida, in Montreal, in Toronto, so 3 shows that I went to last year. At Expona, the 4th show that I went to last year, I was really, really, really excited. And then, like I said, by request, I had to give them back, and it made me sad. It also made me overreact in some kind of ways because I wasn't quite sure or understood what was going on. So yes, Lynx One, I appreciate you saying that it made you want to buy a pair. That's the whole idea. Not because I'm a shill, not because I'm advertising, not because I'm paid to do it, but I tell the truth about whatever it is that I enjoy because I've experienced it over a long period of time, and I just don't talk shit just because I want to make sales. I'm not trying to make people money. I'm trying to inspire you guys. I'm trying to inspire music lovers into getting the best sound that they can. So going to the next comment, says Link One's is saying, yep, I have the current 723s as well in gloss white, so mine are satin white. That's cool. I'm also likely getting the 1528s or Borison's. Looking forward to the 1528s reveal to decide. You and me are on the same path. I can't decide what I really want because I didn't have the Borisons long enough to get a really good feel for the sound. It was only a week. I had to give them back within a week or 4 or 5 days. So it was really, really not enough. So I need to experience it again to give my honest opinion on what they sound like in my room. Right now I can say they're beautiful, they're built well, the stands are fucking incredible. Pardon my language, YouTube. They're really, really good stands. The cabinet is amazingly beautiful. I love everything about them in that sense. But I didn't hear them long enough to give my honest impressions on the sound. So I have to wait as well. Listen to me. There's a reason why I said Perlisten. And if you've seen their adverts, you know what I'm talking about. Arundel Sound with their 1528 speakers coming out, they're gonna have to explain a lot. Maybe not to the public, but I definitely want to know what's going on. Arundel 1528s, I need to hear them, but I need to wait till December, so you know what it is until then. Just keep saving, putting your money away. Don't buy that extra coffee. Maybe cut down on the snacks. Don't buy any ridiculous stuff. If you want to get the most out of your music experience, you got to invest in it. And that's not to sell more equipment. That's telling you that it's a possible thing. You just got to know what you enjoy, know how it works, do some research, and focus on the thing that you want. If you want that car, if you want that house that you're planning for, if you want that new job, if you want to achieve that next level, you can do that, but you got to focus, right? Like that's how everything gets done. Sometimes it's really hard to focus. I know ADHD drives me nuts, but it is important. And I think that we can do that. So with the right motivation, like an unboxing, then people get a focus on what they may want. So for me, same thing. I have the Arundels now. I had the chance to have the Borisons, but that didn't work ideally. So we're going to see about that before December comes around. And one way or the other, I feel like that's where my aim is going to be. My next comparisons are going to be the Arundel towers or the Arundel speakers. Maybe something smaller, maybe a monitor, because I plan on having subs. I already have subs now, so we'll see how that goes. Carmine says, thank you for this, an honest breakdown of what you feel and experience. Exactly. I know there's a lot of people out there that get exaggerated and they say a lot of catchphrases and buzzwords and they act all fucking crazy talking about brands and then this connection and like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of human beings who have expressions about what they want. I'm doing this because, you know, having just a shirt on cameras, in my opinion, is boring. I like seeing what people feel. Body language is a big part of what we are as people. So if I was just like this and I was just talking and I didn't move around, you wouldn't know what I was feeling at all, and then it would be extremely boring. So I don't want to do that. So honesty is really what I'm about. And look, honesty sometimes might cost me something. Let's be honest. No pun intended. But when you tell the truth, sometimes people don't like the truth, and then they don't like you, and then they make you pay a price. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the truth hurt them in some kind of way. The truth is still valuable, but not everybody wants to hear the truth. We know that movie by Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson. We know that, you know, a few good men. We know that line. So, like, you can't handle the truth. And sometimes that's true when you speak honestly and you express yourself in a reality kind of way. Some people that hear what you're saying as an honest expression, they don't like it. And they'll try to make you pay a price for it. I don't know what to say about that. There's nothing I can really say about that. That's just how some people are. That's the way life is. Life is never going to be fair. You just have to be aware of things and act on those things. So let me see. Macrona deleted a message. That's sad. I'm sorry. I didn't even get to see all of it. Said you didn't have to go broke in this hobby, but just listen and take a breath. Yes, exactly. Knowing the ideal way to make the best decisions, and that's what I'm here for. I want to give people any kind of honest breakdown, understanding, depth, options, opinions. I've been to like 10 or 12 different audio shows over the last 4 years in multiple cities, in multiple hotels. I heard things multiple times. I heard them in different systems. I can give my impressions of them, but it's up to you to listen for yourself, as always. True voice of reasons in the house. What's going on? So I'm here, friend. Just an area full, well, let me see. It's just this area is full of circle of, I'm not going to say. Hans Zimmer. That's a good callback. Did you know Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for The Lion King? Spinny. Okay. So, McRona, thanks for joining. Carmine, thanks for being here. Lynx1, thank you for coming in to talk about things, ask the questions. I'm glad that my response is forthcoming. I'm glad that my response is well received, that you understand where I'm coming from. I don't mean to push anybody away. I don't mean to cause problems. I don't mean to cause disruptions. And look, I'll say this much. This is true for everybody. This brand, Arendal, SVS, Orchard Audio, whether it's Klipsch, Pioneer, Onkyo, Sony, Denon, B&W, and all of them, every one of them, all of them, Rotel, Monitor, like all the brands that I know, every brand, Lamborghini, Ferrari, there's so many different things about Ferrari that are crazy. They have a control of their cars and who buys their cars at certain levels, that they control what happens to the cars. Even if you buy it, they have control over the dealers, the repair shops, and the customized parts, where you have to ask permission to do certain things to the car. Because why? They want to look a certain way. They want to have control of the quality of their brand. I get that. That's important, because brand perception, if you thought this brand was no good, for two things are going to happen. One, you might not buy them. And two, I'm wearing the shirt. So then if this was a bad brand, what would you think of me? Right? It gets political really quickly, because what? Part of my name, Psyphonyx, The psychology of human beings is complex. We rely on social cues like my body language, group structures of agreement, disagreement, favorite, this, that, beliefs. We have all kinds of human dynamic elements to what we're doing. The industry is made of people, people selling and dealing, people making and manufacturing, people buying and using, and then some people like myself and others talking about it. All of it creates this big loop of perception. What you think of the brand may indicate whether you like it or not, based on maybe what you heard, like Coke, Pepsi, which one tastes better? That's a false question. Neither one of them tastes better. They both taste different. Better is your choice. The fact is they taste different. Which one you like more could be which one had better advertising. Did you buy one because of this? Like, how did you start? Like, when you were young, did you eat more of this food or that food? Or, you know what I mean? Like, we all develop as human beings to have a preference and use our perception to make decisions. So brand image, which is why actors get fired and why the Johnny Depp trial had him removed from Pirates of the Caribbean, and why some actors are not in movies anymore, because brands like Disney and a bunch of other studios don't want to allow people to do things because they do things that are socially unacceptable. So then to protect the brand image, or also to uphold some morals, they change certain things. This is a very human thing. These are just brands too. So whether you believe in Spotify for not paying artists enough, your choice to buy into Spotify or to use Netflix instead of Prime with Amazon or Disney or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, all of these are political choices based on whatever is happening in the world. Audio brands, clothing brands, food brands, they're all competing for the same thing, and that's sales. So how they act plus what people say generates this perception of the brand. I'm only trying to do my best to speak to what I know, how I feel, what I think as an opinion on whatever the brand is. Now, of course, there are certain laws that protect brands for saying something false. Like, if I say something false, then it can be looked at as defamation, which causes all these problems in audio right now, where like DCS and a couple other brands, Tecton, whomever, have had negative reviews for reasons, but it gets all pushed out of proportion for certain factors, right? So if you say something false and negative, it falls into a category of law. But if it's your opinion can be false and there's no legal ramification because it's just what you think. But the cost of expressing an honest opinion in a social atmosphere are people navigate one way or the other. So if I say to you that the SVS subs say, this is an example, don't quote me, please don't cut this out of context, they're not going to be happy. But if I say that these were really difficult to set up, or if I say these sound great, but I couldn't blend them together, then whose fault is that? Now in your mind, you hear me say any of these difficulty things or whatever the case may be, if there's any of these products, then of course you hear me say it, but then who am I? As a person or a viewer, you have to decide, do you trust me? Right? Like, is what I've said trustworthy? Is it real? Is it honest? Am I telling the truth? Are there a way to test what I'm saying? This is part of the critical thinking I want to inspire in people. I'm getting off of audio here, but it's still related. I mean, there is a reason why I don't have the Borisons. There is a reason why I'm wearing the shirt. There's a reason why I got the cables. All of these reasons blend together for both the idea of this is a business and all businesses rely on certain conditions of psychology to sell, to advertise, to tell the truth, to showcase what matters. What do you value? The price of a product, the availability of a product, how well it's maintained, what kind of service they have. Customer service is a huge, huge thing. Think about when you last called about your phone. Customer service and the way that we treat each other as people is the foundation to every business. All of them. Macrona's like, I love your videos. I have a Lamborghini. Yeah, I'm sure you have a Lamborghini. Show me a picture of it. I have a Lamborghini too, but it's only this big. As Carmine's saying, it's a very small and incestuous business. Everyone knows everyone. Styles come and go, but good taste and quality is forever. Now that's an ultimate statement, and that's true because audio itself, I believe, is a small business. Hi-fi is even smaller because you know that Apple and Dre Beats and JBL and some of these brands sell tons and tons of audio products. Earbuds, sound bars, Bluetooth speakers, they sell lots of this stuff. It's not like that's a small business, but when you're getting into this kind of a brand, the market share for a brand that sells what Synergistic Research sells is itty bitty small. So every sale, in my opinion, now I'm not a business person, so I don't know, but every sale is going to matter more because their audience is smaller. So everything to me, in my outside perspective, as an audio person, as somebody who's worked in the business, who observes these things, I feel like, and I observe that each one of the opportunities for sale and business means more because their audience is smaller. You're not talking about selling toilet paper. Every asshole needs toilet paper. Toilet paper doesn't have to have advertising. You just fucking need it. You're gonna buy it anyways. Doesn't matter what brand it is, you're buying some. That's the difference in some businesses. Some things you don't have to compete. They still try to make it fancy, like who really needs 3 plies of toilet paper? What are you doing with your hands? Come on. Carmen say, have a great weekend. Hope that there's more to come with the good people who make up this hobby actually a passion or mental illness. I think it's a little bit of both, because they say for you to be in love, you have to be a little crazy. So there might be something to that. Any hobby or passion requires a focus and dedication. I think that that's important. I think that focus and dedication is important. And if you don't feel crazy, that's a good thing. If people think you're crazy, maybe they don't know what you're thinking. And that's not necessarily the same thing. If people think you're crazy, what does it matter? As a matter of social media, the only reason why the only importance of caring what somebody thinks of you is what I was just talking about. People just say, oh, unless you're paying my rent, I don't care what you think, or you know what I mean? But the important thing about that phrase is, if you're working in a business with a public perception, what they think of you then pays your rent. So if you're like in social media, like a streamer, gaming, public figure, you're involved in some sort of sales, then what people think of you results in your success, because every business person needs people to buy something. If people didn't think positive of you and people didn't buy your product, you wouldn't have any success. So yeah, Macrona's saying, I hate Bluetooth speakers. I don't know how much of a delay there is in this conversation, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't like wireless sound at all because it drops out too much. Any one that I've ever used, except for maybe a speaker that I like, this neck speaker that I started using. It's a Bluetooth speaker, so it's actually pretty good, but I'm always like, the distance in the audio is very close. It's actually been pretty good. So maybe Bluetooth tech, as long as you're using 5 and above, there's a lot of bandwidth there, and I think the devices have been getting better and better, so that's a good thing. What can I'm getting a little sort of like, I'm getting bored with my own stream. It might be interesting for you guys, but I'm thinking of like, what else can I showcase? I don't have a whole lot new in here that I can talk about audio wise. I love that you guys are asking questions. That's really important. I don't have much else that I can show. Let me see. Thank you all for the thumbs up as well. I see 7. That's amazing. Thank you for everybody that watched. We are going on the 1 hour and 11 minutes. So how about this? How about I'm going to end this stream for now. It's really hot in this room. And it's also about 8 o'clock p.m. my time. So I'm going to go and rest and try to cool down. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for engaging in the conversation here, having some feedback. I appreciate what you have to say. Again, for anybody who's curious, you see this afterwards, I don't know what happens to my lives. I've tried to keep things very fair, very transparent, very meaningful here. I hope that everything works out for myself and all these situations that I've been asked about. I'm doing my best in terms of these things, so we'll have to see what happens. It's hard to tell because, like I said, business has its certain agendas, certain needs and requirements. They operate in such a way that requires certain things. Now, I'm not responsible for that. I'm on the receiving side, so I need to be in line and respect the process. So True Voice of Reason says, wish I could have chatted more, phone calls and work this week. Hey man, that's the way it goes. Life is busy. It always happens. But the good thing is I'm always around. So just message, find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, all the same name. You guys can find me any which way you want. Continue the conversation. Please, everyone, have a great weekend. I hope that what I have shared is meaningful to you and translates into your audio journey to find very positive and better things for you personally. So, yeah. So, Macron is saying, fat finger on iPhone screen. Music is software that runs the hardware. Better music makes your gear shine. That's the same line that we started with. That's a good line. We'll have to remember that. So we started with that phrase. We're going to end with that phrase. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to my reps that are talking about synergistic research in the area. So I don't need to name them now, but I'm going to do it in my final review of the product. So they're burning in now. We'll come back to it later. But thank you very much for this. It's a really nice t-shirt. Feels good. It's a little warm in here, so I'm about to take that off. But I'm not going to do it on this stream. So Mirage, thank you for being here. True Voice of Reason, Carmen, Macrona, my friend Links1, thank you for tuning in, watching, all of those kinds of things. I'll continue the conversation with you in the future. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and we'll talk soon. So stupid. What am I doing? Have a great day. Thank you.